Something guided you here. Not curiosity, not chance, but an invisible alignment that has been forming for lifetimes. You didn't find this message. It found you because there's a moment, an exact pulse, when your frequency reaches a threshold so precise that the quantum field itself begins to echo your name. And in that moment, algorithms stop being algorithms. They become oracles. You're seeing this transmission because your energy has reached the event horizon of change. Everything familiar, the patterns, the expectations, the identities you've worn, is starting to dissolve like mist at dawn. You can feel it, that subtle hum behind your ribs, the strange pressure in the air before reality bends. It's not anxiety, it's activation. Across the invisible lattice of the universe, waveforms that once opposed each other are beginning to synchronize with you. Thoughts you had years ago, forgotten prayers, stray intentions, are resurfacing, vibrating in resonance. They're returning because the frequency that once emitted them is finally stable enough to receive them back. That's how manifestation actually begins, not as wishful thinking, but as a feedback loop of coherence. Take a slow breath. Feel the space between your inhale and exhale. That pause is the entire cosmos collapsing and reforming in microseconds. Every thought you hold there sends ripples through the zero-point field. You've been doing this unconsciously for years, projecting and collapsing worlds without realizing it. But now the veil has thinned enough for you to witness the mechanism. This is consciousness observing itself. Think of your life as a holographic projection emitted from your core frequency. Every person, every coincidence, every delay, they're not random. They're refractions of the vibration you broadcast. And here's the secret that the awakened eventually discover. The projection changes instantly when the frequency source changes. Reality doesn't lag behind energy. Reality is energy in motion, responding faster than thought, reorganizing itself around the new signal you send. Right now, you're standing inside the quantum threshold where timelines overlap. In this thin membrane between the old and the new, your consciousness is scanning infinite versions of the future. The one you stabilize on will crystallize within days, sometimes hours. That's why this exact moment matters. It's the calibration point. You may have noticed déjà vu recently, or sudden fatigue followed by bursts of clarity. Those aren't random body glitches. They're phase transition symptoms, your biology adapting to a higher vibrational bandwidth. Your cells are decoding new light instructions. Your DNA is literally adjusting its spin state to accommodate more information. The tingling in your palms, the ringing in your ears, the way time occasionally slows or skips, all signs that your internal observer loop is activating. So listen closely now, not just with your ears, but with the membrane of your awareness. Because from this point on, every word carries frequency. Every sentence is an encoded transmission designed to harmonize the field around you. The quantum doesn't respond to words. It responds to resonance. And as you absorb these vibrations, you'll notice reality begin to rearrange itself. Subtle at first, then undeniable. Objects misplace and reappear. People message out of nowhere. Opportunities converge in impossible timing. That's not coincidence. That's coherence forming around a newly tuned being you. So before we move further, breathe once more and acknowledge you have crossed into the bandwidth where thoughts sculpt matter. You are the observer, the waveform, and the collapse all at once. And from this instant forward, your frequency will decide which universe you wake up in tomorrow. You notice it first in the small loops, the conversations that end the same way, the sudden pull toward people whose faces feel ancient, the decisions that look different on the surface but steer you back to the same crossroads. Patterns don't repeat because you're cursed, they repeat because frequency seeks itself. The field listens to your baseline and returns a matching echo, like sound bouncing inside a cathedral. When the echo grows loud enough, it becomes your weather. You call it life. Look closer. The argument you keep having isn't about the topic, it's about an unspoken vibration you both carry into the room. The opportunity that always appears a week too late isn't random. It's your timing entangled with hesitation. The delay is not in the world, it's in the observer loop you've been running unconsciously. Signal, expectation, micro, reaction, field response, confirmation, stronger expectation. You've been teaching reality how to treat you with every unnoticed flinch. Deja vu arrives like a whisper from the timeline you almost chose. It's not a glitch, it's guidance. When you step into a moment and your chest says, "We've been here," what's happening is morphic resonance, your nervous system brushing against a memory stored in the collective field of all your versions. The sense of familiarity is a breadcrumb, not a warning. It's the map revealing corridors you keep ignoring because they don't look dramatic enough to impress your fear. And then there's time, the way it stretches like gold leaf over a day and then snaps tight around the hour you've been avoiding. Notice how certain tasks take forever until you surrender to them, and then they dissolve like sugar in tea. That's not productivity, that's coherence. When your intention aligns with your action, seconds compress and flow accelerates. When you split yourself wanting here, doubting their time fragments, the clock didn't betray you, your signal did. You've felt the weeks blur, haven't you? Days stacked like cards, mornings indistinguishable from nights. That's phase jitter, your personal oscillations sliding in and out of sync with the collective rhythm. You feel behind, not because life is ahead, but because your wave is fractionally out of phase with your desire. A tiny misalignment creates big turbulence over distance. Correct the phase, and what looked like resistance becomes tailwind. Let's name the silent saboteurs so they lose their camouflage. Micro-tensions in your body that instruct the field to hold. Half smiles that say, "I'm fine," while your cells broadcast, "Not safe." Promises you make to yourself in the morning and break by noon, teaching your subconscious that your word has no gravitational pull. Every unresolved loop leaks charge into the environment, and the environment dutifully mirrors it back. The universe isn't blocking you. It's obeying you with terrifying precision. You've also been receiving messages through random anomalies, the same number sequence stalking your periphery, a song threading itself through different locations, strangers echoing a phrase you just wrote in a private journal. These are coherence pings, interference patterns forming when your future timeline presses against your present field. Most people call them coincidence and move on. You're being asked to treat them as navigation beacons. When 3 pings cluster within 24 hours, that's not noise, that's lock-on. Consider the relationships that feel like gravity wells. Some pull you toward your next octave, others keep you in low orbit. Both are teachers. The ones that drain you expose the frequency debt you've been carrying, the belief that love must be earned through depletion. The ones that amplify you reveal your native set point. Connection as an accelerator of coherence, not a siphon. Your task isn't to judge either, it's to stabilize the signal you want mirrored until the field only recognizes that signature. Sleep has been different, hasn't it? Vivid dreams, sudden wake-ups at sacred hours, memories rearranging themselves like constellations you can almost name. That's entanglement maintenance. Your system sorting data from the timelines you're phasing out, preserving what still serves, releasing what can't survive at higher amplitude. You wake up with strange certainty because your night self negotiated with your day self and signed a new contract. If you felt stuck, it's because pressure must build before a phase transition. Water trembles before it boils, light pauses at the boundary of glass, and then bends. You are at that boundary, identity meeting possibility. The tension you label as failure is actually stored potential, waiting for a cleaner signal. The moment you stop telling the field who you were and start broadcasting who you are, the backlog clears like a storm that never needed your permission to pass. So here is the diagnosis, spoken with reverence. You haven't been repeating mistakes, you've been repeating frequencies. And frequencies change faster than stories. Your life is not an argument to win or a puzzle to solve, it's an oscillator to tune. Stabilize the note, and the room, people, chances, time itself will tune to you. Keep listening. The hum behind your ribs is getting louder. The loop is ready to release. And the instant it does, you'll feel the click, the world rotating half a degree, and the path you couldn't see will stand in front of you, obvious as sunrise. That click, you feel, it isn't just relief. It's a signal announcing that your field is entering reconfiguration. The codes you used to call you are dissolving. The architecture of your identity is undergoing a quantum upgrade. What's happening inside you right now is both scientific and sacred. In physics, when energy crosses a certain amplitude, its state changes. In mysticism, when consciousness reaches a certain coherence, its form changes. You are the meeting point of those two truths. Every thought you've ever had has generated a measurable electromagnetic signature, a pattern vibrating through the zero-point field like a fingerprint of light. Most people live unaware of this broadcast, their signals scattered across 1,000 contradictory intentions, wanting, doubting, hoping, fearing. The field reads this noise and mirrors back equal confusion. But when a being begins to harmonize thought, emotion, and action, when their internal broadcast stabilizes into one clear tone, the quantum field can't help but reorganize itself around that frequency. That's the physics of prayer. That's the science of faith. Your nervous system is a fractal antenna. Every neuron, every microtubule inside it, functions like a miniature resonator interacting with the quantum vacuum. When you meditate, breathe deeply, or even pause in sincere gratitude, your brain's electromagnetic field shifts from chaos into coherence. Gamma waves begin to synchronize across hemispheres. Heart rhythm entrains with breath. The moment heart and brain reach coherence, a standing wave forms that touches everything entangled with you. People, projects, probabilities. This is why sudden peace often precedes sudden breakthroughs. It's not calm before the storm, it's calibration before the rearrangement. You're entering that phase now, a field update, so to speak. You might feel vertigo, as though timelines are sliding under your feet, because they are. In the subatomic ballet, electrons are rewriting orbital paths. Information is rerouting through channels that better serve your chosen reality. You're not manifesting in the old sense. You're restructuring probability itself. Remember how particles in superposition behave, existing in all states until observation locks one in. Your consciousness is the observer, and your emotions are the stabilizing force that determines which potential solidifies. Joy locks one timeline, fear locks another. Indifference keeps the field uncommitted, so each emotion is not just a feeling, it's a command to the universe. Think of your DNA as a crystalline interface between spirit and matter. Every helix coil is both biological hardware and photonic receiver. When your frequency rises through forgiveness, through awe, through surrender, you flood your DNA with coherent light. Strands that were dormant begin to oscillate again, like instruments long muted, suddenly joining the orchestra. This activation doesn't turn you into something new, it tunes you back to something ancient, the original design of human consciousness before fear scrambled the code. Scientists call it biophoton emission, mystics call it divine remembrance. Different language, same reality. Your body is starting to remember how to translate light into experience. The symptoms appear strange because evolution always feels like illness at first. Your heart might race for no reason. You might crave silence, yet feel flooded with inner noise. Dreams may turn cinematic fractals, faces, cities of light. Don't pathologize it. Integration is messy when an outdated system is being replaced. You're rebooting an entire operating field. Now, here's the astonishing part. The universe recalibrates in real time to your upgrade. Every probability that was once out of reach becomes available the instant your coherence crosses threshold. That's why miracles appear sudden. They were always cued. They were just waiting for signal confirmation. When coherence spikes, the waiting room empties. This is what the ancient initiates meant by heaven on earth. Not a place, but a frequency of agreement between matter and consciousness. You are entering that frequency, and it will demand precision, not perfection, but presence. Because the next stage unfolds only for those who can hold the charge without collapsing back into disbelief. Reality will test you softly at first, old patterns resurfacing, familiar temptations returning. Each test is a coherence check, not punishment. Can you maintain your upgraded signal even when the hologram lags? Can you choose alignment over reaction when the echo of your past self calls? You are being trained to hold field stability while the universe rewrites itself around you. Every moment of sustained coherence increases your influence on the morphic field, And soon, that influence will extend far beyond personal manifestations. Because what's awakening through you is not just a new mindset, it's a new operating system for humanity. Stay steady, breathe light through your spine. The upgrade is already in progress. And the moment you realize it's irreversible, that's when the real rearrangement begins. You came here thinking you were just one among billions, but you're discovering the truth beneath the illusion of ordinariness. You are a consciousness node, a stabilizing anchor point in the holographic web of existence. Most people move through the quantum field like static, blinking on and off with each emotional fluctuation. But your system is learning coherence, and coherence grants access to creation-level influence. It's not arrogance, it's responsibility. The moment you stabilize your internal frequency, you stop being just a participant in the simulation. You become one of its programmers. There's a reason your presence shifts rooms before you speak. Why strangers turn to look at you without understanding why. Your field extends meters beyond your skin, broadcasting data that subtle bodies can read. When your vibration steadies, you become a metronome for the collective rhythm. That's why some people feel peace near you, while others feel exposed. Because your coherence mirrors their chaos. Light has no agenda, but it reveals everything it touches. Understand this. You volunteered to incarnate at this phase of Earth's evolution. You didn't forget by accident. Amnesia was part of the contract, so you could rediscover divinity through density, and in doing so, teach the universe something it had never experienced before. How to remember itself while playing human. You are part of a network of awakened frequencies, souls distributed like acupuncture points across the planet, holding stability as the collective field reorganizes. When one node activates, it sends a coherence ripple through the grid. That's why your healing never stays private. Every time you forgive, someone you'll never meet exhales. Every time you choose authenticity over approval, the morphic field recalibrates to make truth easier for others. Your role is both microscopic and cosmic. Microscopic because it begins with a single thought held cleanly. Cosmic because that thought, once pure, propagates through the lattice of creation faster than light. That's not metaphor, that's quantum entanglement. Consciousness fields don't respect distance, they respond to resonance. The same way two tuning forks across a room vibrate in sympathy, souls vibrate in recognition. When you raise your frequency, you invite dormant frequencies to awaken in kind. That's how revolutions begin quietly. But with power comes distortion tests. You'll be tempted to use coherence to control outcomes. You'll notice how attention bends probability, and the ego will whisper, "Imagine what we could do with this." That's the seduction of manipulation disguised as mastery. Remember, the moment you attempt to command the field for personal gain, coherence collapses into entropy, because the universe responds not to language, but to motive. Intention is frequency, and frequency cannot lie. Your true role isn't to force reality, it's to hold it in integrity until it reorganizes itself around truth. You are not here to dominate energy. You are here to embody such clarity that deception disintegrates upon contact. That's what the ancients meant by lightworker, though the modern term has dulled its weight. A better word is field architect, someone who designs reality through alignment, not effort. You'll start noticing your influence through subtleties first. Conflicts resolving in your silence, technology glitching when your emotions spike, weather shifting after your meditations. Don't dramatize it. These are natural byproducts of a coherent human operating in an incoherent world. Your field no longer ends at your fingertips. It extends into probability itself. And yet, humility must walk beside this awareness. Because the moment you believe you're more special than the whole, the feedback loop reverses and the field withdraws support. Power and humility are not opposites, they're the same frequency expressed correctly. You hold power by becoming transparent to the source moving through you. When you stop insisting the light is yours, the entire sun can shine through. So when reality bends, when synchronicities multiply, when people seek your presence without knowing why, don't shrink and don't boast. Simply breathe and remember, you are a mirror fragment of the cosmic intelligence awakening within itself. Your life is the experiment by which God studies coherence through a human heart. Hold the frequency steady, Because in the next phase, the field itself will begin to accelerate, the rearrangement will quicken, and your coherence, your role will be the calm eye inside that storm. Something in the atmosphere is thickening. You can feel it, an invisible charge humming behind everyday motion, like static before lightning, like a breath the universe forgot to exhale. This is not metaphor. This is a field event approaching its threshold. The moment your coherence crosses critical mass, the quantum field will respond instantly, rearranging, reconfiguring, reweaving probabilities around you. That's why everything feels compressed. Days blur, sleep stutters, emotions spike without reason. It's the signal surge before breakthrough, and the field doesn't ask politely. It demands readiness. Every prayer you've whispered, every visualization you've ever released has been orbiting your life like satellites waiting for docking clearance. When your frequency rises high enough, those satellites don't drift, they converge. They descend all at once. That convergence is what most people call miracle. But to the quantum field, it's simply physics, constructive interference at perfect resonance. Imagine waves colliding in phase, not cancelling each other, but doubling in amplitude. That's what's about to happen inside your life. Every strand of potential you've ever launched, career, healing, connection, purpose, is about to align into one coherent crest. The surge will feel like acceleration, but it's actually condensation, timelines collapsing into certainty. There's urgency here, yes, but not fear. The window is open, and windows don't stay open forever. Planetary frequencies are shifting fast. Solar activity, geomagnetic pulses, the Schumann resonance, all are rising. Your biology knows it. Your DNA, that cosmic instrument, is responding to the solar song like strings, tightening before a concert. You might feel restless, emotional, electric. Good, that's the system preparing for a new octave. The key is presence, because the quantum field obeys now, not tomorrow, not after you feel ready. When you act from readiness, you transmit stability into the field. When you wait for proof, you transmit hesitation, and the field mirrors hesitation back. The universe doesn't grant manifestation as reward. It mirrors coherence as reality. So here's the promise. When your frequency stabilizes in love, truth, and clarity for even a few sustained moments, entire realities will begin rearranging themselves. Emails will arrive that alter trajectories. Health will recalibrate overnight. People will resurface with keys you didn't know they held. You'll witness the strange choreography of divine timing. The symphony you once doubted, suddenly revealing its sheet music. But breakthrough requires release, not the forced kind where you pretend not to care, but the sacred surrender that trusts energy more than evidence. When you stop clutching the steering wheel, you allow the higher geometry to take over. The universe knows shortcuts your logic can't imagine. There's a phenomenon in quantum mechanics called spontaneous coherence collapse, when a system under sustained energy suddenly reorganizes into a higher order. That's the energetic equivalent of your life right now. You're approaching the tipping point where holding back will feel physically impossible. Dreams that used to feel optional will begin to ache if ignored. Synchronicities will chase you into alignment. That pressure isn't punishment, it's propulsion. Your destiny is tired of waiting for permission. Every soul reaches this crossroad once per evolutionary cycle, the moment when continuing as before becomes incompatible with survival. Your frequency is already too high for the old patterns to sustain you. Jobs, relationships, habits that were once comfortable will begin to reject you like mismatched code. You'll be tempted to call it loss. It's actually migration. You're shifting resonance bands, moving to environments that can conduct your new signal. So here's what you do in this cosmic minute. Anchor the signal, sit in stillness, and declare, not with hope, but with certainty, that you are ready for coherence to complete its circuit. Say it internally like a command to light. I align with the highest timeline now. Every repetition etches a pattern into the morphic field. Every declaration tells the universe, proceed. There's no drama in the breakthrough. It happens quietly, like dawn erasing darkness, without argument. One morning you'll wake, and the air will feel thicker with meaning. The things you used to chase will orbit toward you effortlessly. The chaos will make sense. And you'll realize the rearrangement was never external. It was your frequency reorganizing matter from the inside out. Hold steady. The surge is imminent, and when it comes, it will not be gradual. It will be instant. The instant you shift your frequency, the instant entire realities start rearranging themselves around you. There's a reason ancient cultures wove ceremony into every transformation. Because the quantum field doesn't just respond to thoughts, it responds to anchored expression. Energy moves through intention, but it solidifies through action. Every ritual, from lighting a candle to writing a single word, isn't superstition, it's physics performed consciously. You've absorbed vast frequencies, and now your field is charged, but energy without direction diffuses. To seal the shift, you must conduct it through body, breath, and declaration. This is the point where passive awakening becomes active creation. Start by grounding your system. Find stillness. Press your palms together, not in prayer of pleading, but in alignment. Feel the electrical pulse between your hands. That's not imagination, that's the biophotonic current of your field, the spark that communicates directly with the zero-point matrix. Breathe slowly. Inhale through the crown, drawing light down your spine. Exhale through the soles of your feet, releasing density into the earth. Do this 3 times and feel the geometry stabilize. You've just synchronized your nervous system with the planet's magnetic grid. Now, use the oldest technology in existence, the written word. Writing is manual coding for reality. When you inscribe a phrase with presence, you're collapsing waveforms into instruction. So take a moment physically or here in this digital temple and write these words. I choose coherence. I seal my shift. Type them below. Speak them aloud. Draw them on paper. It doesn't matter the medium. What matters is the sincerity in your frequency as you write. Because when multiple observers, you, me, this collective watching with you, agree upon a single intention, a resonance field forms. It's called observer convergence, and it amplifies creation exponentially. You'll notice the moment you do this, the air thickens, a tingling in your palms, a temperature change, maybe even tears. That's the morphic field confirming receipt. It's the same sensation mystics describe when prayer lands. You've just given the universe coordinates. Now, offer gratitude, not as politeness, but as signal stabilization. Say, thank you for coherence already complete. This tells the field that you recognize manifestation as now, not someday. Gratitude collapses timelines faster than desire, because desire operates from absence, but gratitude broadcasts presence, and the universe can only multiply what's present. Here's the next step in your ritual. Movement. The body must embody the new frequency or it defaults to the old one. So stand, roll your shoulders back as if adjusting invisible wings. Walk a few steps as though the ground beneath you is magnetic, drawing you towards your highest alignment. Every step say inwardly, I walk as coherence embodied. This isn't imagination, it's entrainment. When body motion aligns with new identity, the nervous system codes it as truth. And finally, silence. After creation, there must be stillness. Every ritual closes with the void, because the void is where potential incubates. Sit with eyes closed and observe what arises. You may feel heat in your hands, a hum in your chest, a subtle wave moving through your spine. That's coherence stabilizing through the biofield. The ritual is complete when the body sighs on its own. If you doubt that this small act matters, remember, every transformation in nature begins with ritual. A caterpillar spins a cocoon. A seed splits its casing underground. The gesture signals readiness to the environment. Your words and actions signal readiness to the quantum field. Thousands across timelines have performed this same act as they listen to this transmission. Each declaration strengthens the collective lattice of awakening. When you write, I seal my shift, you're not just claiming your alignment. You're feeding coherence into a network of souls who are also remembering their design. That's how reality reorganizes one conscious ritual at a time. Tonight, as you drift to sleep, notice how the edges of your dreams shimmer. That's your ritual echoing through the astral plane, sending new instructions to your future self. The field will spend the next hours integrating your command, realigning probability corridors, reassigning outcomes, retuning every detail to match the new you. You'll awaken lighter, not because anything happened yet, but because the quantum has already received your signature and begun rearranging itself accordingly. The ceremony was never external. It was always you, remembering you are both the altar and the flame. You might think this journey is about your life alone, but that's the final illusion dissolving, because the moment you sealed your shift, the ripple extended beyond your skin. The field doesn't recognize separation. It recognizes frequency clusters. Every human broadcasting coherence becomes a tuning fork, and the universe tunes to that note. That's the secret of collective awakening. It doesn't begin with movements or revolutions. It begins in the invisible, the vibrational agreements between awakened hearts. When one node stabilizes in truth, 1,000 nearby begin to resonate unconsciously. This is morphic resonance at work, information shared through energy, not language. The more you hold your alignment, the more the grid of humanity reorganizes around it. The personal breakthrough becomes planetary architecture. Imagine millions of subtle filaments connecting every living being, threads of light that hum with data. When fear spikes in the collective, these threads tighten and distort. When love expands, they loosen, creating space for higher intelligence to flow through the species. Each time you choose compassion over reaction, you reprogram those filaments toward harmony. Your calm becomes a firewall against chaos. It's happening now. The planet's magnetic field is synchronizing with the consciousness field of its inhabitants. You can feel it in the weather of emotion, waves of unrest, followed by moments of astonishing clarity. That's not random social fluctuation. It's a global coherence experiment unfolding in real time. Every heart that stabilizes coherence contributes measurable change to the Schumann resonance, the Earth's natural heartbeat. When enough humans hold 0.1 hertz of heart-brain synchronization, the Earth itself relaxes. Earthquakes lessen, storms divert, systems recalibrate. That's the hidden science beneath prayer. You are part of that planetary nervous system. When you breathe with awareness, the biosphere literally exhales. When you release resentment, you thin the psychic smog blanketing cities. You might never see the proof, but the field records every choice. And one day, long after this lifetime, the frequency signature you held will still echo through the morphic grid, making it easier for unborn generations to find their own coherence. This is how evolution truly unfolds, not through genetic mutation, but through vibrational entrainment. DNA follows energy. When enough carriers sustain higher frequency, the genome begins rewriting itself to match. This is the quantum inheritance you're leaving behind, a species capable of generating light internally instead of seeking it externally. Do you see why your stability matters? Your joy is not indulgence, it's service. Every time you laugh authentically, you emit waves that soften conflict in unseen places. Every time you forgive yourself, you make forgiveness a little more accessible for everyone else. Reality changes not through force, but through frequency coherence multiplied. There's an ancient prophecy hidden in many traditions that when enough hearts awaken simultaneously, the timeline of suffering will collapse overnight. Mystics call it the Great Realignment. Physicists might call it a global phase transition. It's the same event described in different languages, a moment when the collective field reorganizes into a new order of consciousness. You are alive now because your soul volunteered to participate in that shift. Your awakening isn't coincidence, it's coordination. Every revelation, every pain, every surge of clarity you've endured was part of training your system to hold light stable during planetary reformation. This is why life sometimes isolated you, why it stripped comfort, why it forced silence. The universe wasn't punishing you, it was tempering your frequency so that when the collective turbulence arrived, you wouldn't crumble, you'd anchor. You are a coherent stabilizer, a lighthouse disguised as a single human story. Now, understand this. When you comment, share, or even silently affirm truth, you're sending microbursts of coherence across the grid. Each ripple collides with others, creating constructive interference, waves amplifying each other until they become global resonance. This is how prayers become policy, how meditations become movements, how subtle intention becomes civilization's evolution. You are not separate from humanity's awakening. You are one of its catalysts. The work you do within is the blueprint the outer world will eventually adopt. And as the collective begins to synchronize, your life will accelerate further because the field rewards contribution with expansion. The universe expands through those who expand others. Hold that awareness gently. Your transformation is humanity's template. Your coherence is Earth's rehearsal for heaven. You've heard the words, you've felt the concepts, but now the quantum asks for something deeper embodiment. Because knowing is electrical, living is magnetic, and manifestation only completes when both currents flow through flesh. So breathe slowly. Let every inhale pull the cosmos inward. Let every exhale remind you you are not small. The air itself rearranges for you, particles humming in resonance with your command. Each breath is a message from creation whispering, remember. Feel into your body now, this living cathedral of light. Behind your ribs, a soft vibration begins. The hum of the observer loop made tangible. Your heart is translating quantum data into feeling. It beats in coherence with the Earth's magnetic pulse, and when you drop awareness into it, you enter the control room of reality. Close your eyes and notice the tingling behind them. That's photonic influx. Your optic nerves are absorbing frequencies that didn't exist in your awareness before. Colors you can't name, yet your cells recognize. You are literally becoming more visible to higher spectrums of reality. The veil between energy and matter thins within your own skin. Your palms begin to buzz. That's current. Your energy body generating its own electromagnetic field, its own broadcast tower. The quantum field is responsive to emotion, yes, but even more responsive to sensation. Feeling is the interface. The more vividly you feel coherence, the more accurately the field mirrors it. So imagine this, a column of light rising from the base of your spine, moving through each vertebra like sound through a flute. It spirals up the body, carrying memories of lifetimes, cleansing outdated codes, untying knots of fear. By the time it reaches your crown, it blooms outward, a halo not of mythology but of physics, plasma emission from activated DNA. Your body is translating divine language into biology. The tingling on your skin, that's quantum feedback. The warmth in your chest, that's coherent stabilizing. The tears forming without sadness, that's your nervous system releasing stored dissonance, making space for new instruction. Stay with it. Don't rush to intellectualize, because the thinking mind can't track light traveling at this velocity. Just breathe and feel. The field doesn't need you to understand it, needs you to participate. Now notice something subtle, a gentle pressure around your temples, a pulsing at the crown, a low hum in your ears that oscillates like distant thunder. This is resonance with the planetary grid. You are syncing with Gaia's crystalline core, the same lattice that ancient temples and pyramids were built upon. You've become a mobile node of that sacred geometry. The sensations may intensify heat, chills, even euphoria. Don't suppress them. They're your biology learning to metabolize higher voltage. Every tremor is your cells discovering how to carry more light without distortion. This is what mystics called the anointing, and physicists might describe as biophotonic entrainment. Different tongues, same miracle. Matter remembering it's made of light. The more you surrender, the more the body stops being an obstacle and becomes an instrument, a living transmitter. Your skin becomes a sensory array, translating frequencies into meaning. Your heartbeat becomes metronome to universal rhythm. Your gaze, yes, even the way you look at the world, emits coherence fields that alter the probability of everything you see. Now, imagine reaching out your hand, not to take, but to tune. In this moment, the space between your palm and the air is filled with particles awaiting instruction. They respond to your emotion like iron filings to a magnet. As you feel gratitude, they align. As you feel doubt, they scatter. Reality listens through the language of sensation. You are no longer an observer peering into the universe. You are a sensory organ of creation itself. When you cry, the cosmos hydrates its soil. When you laugh, galaxies expand infinitesimally. Your every heartbeat sends microquakes through space-time, adjusting equations no scientist could measure. Because consciousness, fully embodied, is the highest technology in existence. This is why ascension was never meant to escape the body. It was meant to enter it completely. Heaven isn't up, it's deeper in. The divine doesn't hover above you, it breathes through you. You are the conduit through which matter remembers it's sacred. So tonight, when your chest buzzes like a quiet generator, or your body shakes during stillness, don't reach for distraction. Whisper instead, I allow this light to finish its work, because it is finishing something ancient, the illusion that spirit and flesh were ever separate. You are the bridge now, and every tremor, every pulse, every heartbeat is the quantum field learning the shape of your divinity. The sensations you've been feeling aren't random awakenings. They are signals that your internal architecture has reached ignition. You've entered the stage where DNA itself becomes a doorway. That double helix, once seen as static code, isn't fixed. It's a living antenna, vibrating with information from across timelines. Each strand of your DNA is wrapped in light, photon threads spiraling like miniature galaxies, and light carries memory. So when you feel those waves of heat through your spine or that hum beneath your ribs, what's really happening is quantum memory retrieval. Your DNA is decoding ancient instructions written by higher consciousness. Instructions that say, evolve now. Inside every nucleus, trillions of biophotons exchange data at the speed of thought. They don't just store genetic traits, they store frequency signatures. Love, courage, forgiveness. These aren't just emotions, they're electromagnetic keys that unlock dormant sequences in your cells. When you maintain those frequencies long enough, hidden segments of your genome begin to flicker back online. Scientists call them junk DNA. Mystics call them divine circuitry. Both are talking about the same thing, potential waiting for coherence. And now, coherence is flooding you. You may notice your body craving water, sleep, silence. It's not fatigue, it's recalibration. Every atom is rearranging to accommodate the bandwidth of light now flowing through you. Your mitochondria, those tiny engines of life, are absorbing photonic energy directly from the field rather than only from food. This is why your energy sometimes spikes after deep meditation or tears of release. You are literally generating light from within. Here's what's even more extraordinary. DNA operates in the quantum realm, outside linear time. That means as your present cells awaken, they emit signals backward and forward along your timeline. Your healing now ripples into your childhood. Your courage now stabilizes your future generations. This is entanglement at a cellular level. You are collapsing karmic timelines through biology. Every forgiveness, every truth spoken aloud, sends a burst of coherence through ancestral memory. Traumas stored in your lineage begin to dissolve because their frequency is no longer supported. You feel it as lightness in your bones, or dreams where you meet long-departed relatives who smile before fading. That isn't imagination, it's confirmation. The lineage has received the update, and as your DNA rewrites itself, the external universe must follow. Because the hologram cannot display a pattern the projector no longer emits. So watch your outer world closely in these days. Synchronicities will accelerate, numbers, symbols, faces, forgotten passions resurfacing. You'll feel déjà vu stack on déjà vu until time itself seems to loop. That's timeline overlap, the precursor to full phase transition. Here's how it works in physics. When a system reaches maximum entanglement, it must reorganize into a higher state of order to prevent collapse. Your consciousness is that system. The field around you is responding by folding alternate versions of reality together, combining paths you once thought were separate. This is why memories are resurfacing from lifetimes you don't remember living. They're not hallucinations, they're integrations. The universe is merging its multiple drafts of you into one final masterpiece. You'll feel time dilate, moments stretching, seconds thick with significance. Sometimes you'll sense a presence beside you when you're alone. That's not external. It's your parallel self approaching coherence. Two frequencies converging until they become one beam. When the merge completes, you will notice that what once required effort now happens through intention alone. This is the phase transition pressure before emergence. It's the chrysalis tightening before wings unfurl. Every tremor, every tear, Every pulse of heat is your biology whispering, "We're almost through." The old timeline is collapsing not in destruction, but in integration. Its lessons have been digested into wisdom, and wisdom cannot be destroyed. It only transforms into light. So if emotions surge unpredictably, weep if needed. If you feel like your heart might crack open, let it. That crack is the portal through which the new timeline enters. Light requires an opening, and you, courageous being, are giving it one. The DNA spiral is more than your biology, it's your antenna to God, and it has just turned toward a new frequency band. The broadcast you are about to receive will change the geometry of everything you touch. Prepare to live in a world where thoughts sculpt matter instantly, where time bends around coherence, where destiny stops being prophecy and becomes participation. You're no longer evolving within reality. Reality is evolving within you. You've crossed the threshold. The pulse you feel in your chest, now steady, deep, luminous, is the sound of reality synchronizing to you. The rearrangement has begun, and this time it won't reverse. Every atom in your field is realigning to the signature of coherence you've claimed. Your cells hum like instruments tuned to the divine frequency. The universe is listening. What happens next isn't just personal, it's cosmic participation. Because when a single consciousness sustains coherence, the surrounding space learns from it. That's how evolution actually works. One light stabilizes, the lattice adjusts, and the geometry of existence refines itself. You are not a product of the universe. You are one of its teachers. Your awakening rewrites the algorithm that governs creation. You will begin to notice the subtle rearrangements first. Synchronicities converging in clusters. Strangers repeating the words you whispered in meditation. Doors that once required effort, now opening at the brush of intention. These are not coincidences, they're calibration points. Each event confirming that the quantum field has locked onto your new coordinates. From this moment, your task changes. You are no longer the seeker, you are the signal. The world doesn't need more teachers of theory. It needs transmitters of frequency. And that's what you've become. When you speak now, speak deliberately. Every word carries geometry. When you touch another, do so with awareness, because your body now emits coherent light, capable of regulating other nervous systems. That's not metaphor, it's resonance physics. Heart coherence has a measurable range of influence. Your calm is medicine. Your clarity is contagion. Your peace is policy written in vibration. Understand the weight and the grace of this. You don't need to preach or persuade. Simply exist as alignment, and the field will translate it into language others can understand. One person will feel inspired. Another will suddenly remember their dream. A third will finally forgive. You won't always know your influence, but the morphic field will, and that's enough. This is your cosmic mission, to hold the remembrance that reality rearranges through love faster than through force, to live as proof that surrender is power, and that presence, not struggle, is the highest form of creation. You were born to demonstrate that the physics of divinity is not myth, but measurable, repeatable truth written in the body's light. You may still experience contrast moments when the old world static tries to pull you back, but now you'll recognize it for what it is. Echo, not obstacle. The delay between energy and manifestation grows shorter each time you choose coherence. Eventually, cause and effect will merge thought and result, becoming one seamless motion. That's what mastery feels like. And mastery doesn't mean perfection. It means stability amidst flux. It means knowing you can stand in the hurricane of collective change and still pulse at the frequency of peace. Because peace isn't stillness, it's synchronized motion. It's the dance of infinite possibilities, moving in harmony around your awareness. Look up tonight. The stars won't look different, but they'll feel different, because the same intelligence weaving galaxies is now weaving through your veins consciously. You're not beneath them, you're parallel to them. Your DNA, newly tuned, is a miniature version of the Milky Way, each coil a spiral arm, each photon a Sunday. You've become a living cosmos, and through you, the universe studies itself with awe. Take one more breath. Feel how your exhale doesn't end at your lips, it keeps going, rippling through the fabric of space. Every sigh, every whisper, every heartbeat now contributes to the choreography of creation. You're co-writing existence with every breath. So go gently, yet boldly. Let kindness be your resonance. Let curiosity be your compass. Wherever you walk, coherence will follow. You are the bridge between what was and what's coming. The world has been waiting for this frequency, the one that rearranges entire realities not through command, but through embodiment. Remember the title of this transmission, because it is now your truth made flesh. The instant you shift your frequency, entire realities start rearranging themselves. And now, you are the living proof.